Welcome to Alive on One, a miniatures-based podcast currently focused on Marvel's Crisis Protocol for this episode. Today, we'll be going through the new Adam Warlock, Moondragon, and Quasar box. I have two co-hosts today with me. The first one I have up will be Pedro. Pedro, say hi.
Hello.
Next up, I also have Mike Waller with me. Say hi, Mike.
What's up? What's up, guys? Good to be back.
Yeah, it feels like a long time no see for Marvel Protocol podcast, so it's good to have everybody here.
Yeah, I haven't been on an MCP one in a while, I think.
Yep. I mean, there's going to be hot and heavy releases coming soon. So at the time of recording, Adepticon has not happened yet, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stuff happening there. Also, at this time of recording, I'm not sure if the charity event has happened yet for Live on One, but I'm going to assume that it already did, and it was a great time. And you met us all, and we all did nothing but have great games and good laughs.
Oh, I had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving on to our first segment then, we have an Alive on One. Let's see. Pedro, would you like to share your Alive on One story?
Absolutely. So, my lovely Alive on One story actually features one of these characters we're going to be talking about, Moondragon. I had a TTS League match where I would have won if Moondragon would have just KO'd. I left her on one for 3 rounds straight and kept on putting every single attack into her with Valkyrie, Baron Zemo, and a Loki, and she would just not die, to where the last round, that winning round I could have had, I charged and Master Swordsman'd her, and I got 6 successes, and she proceeds to block 6. And then I do a Master Swordsman again, and I get another 6, perfect, and she blocks another 6, perfect.
So for both of those attacks, she not only triple critted each time, but then converted each of those crits to an appropriate block.
Yes.
Facing.
It was
act like
insane. Insane.
That's crazy.
I was like, why is she not dying?
Your biggest mistake was attacking her from range 2, and that Shaolin martial artist we'll be talking about later is pretty solid. Actually,
pretty solid. And then the funniest thing is he didn't want to get bleed, so he makes me re-roll the 1 wild, and it just turns into a hit, and I'm like, awesome. So she can't even die now.
No.
So yeah, it was incredible. She is a blast. Every time I fight her or go into her, it is very annoying. Same situation with Mike. We had a league match, and I think it was the same thing. I could not kill his Moondragon on one Summon the Storm attack from Bill.
I think you were in range 2 anyway, though.
Yes, exactly. So do not hit this chick in range 2. It is impossible to kill her.
Yeah, and then she's gonna make you re-roll it, and then in my case, she doesn't die and just runs away like a little schoolgirl with the extract and wins the game.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, on the 3-thread range 2, you're blocking like a Shang-Chi backed up by an amazing Spider-Man. That feels pretty rough sometimes.
Yes.
Pretty tanky.
Yeah, no, she is awesome. But yeah, that's my Live on One. I cried that night internally.
Well,
but then that was it. It was awesome the next day.
That was a good one, Pedro. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, let's see. Mike, did you have an Alive One story with Adam Warlock you wanted to share?
I did. So the only game I have played in the past 2 weeks was my league game on Wednesday for Highlander. I was playing against Corey Peabody on Discord in the finals. We're doing Spider-Foes versus Guardians. And he got my Adam Warlock down to 1 health, and he had a bleed condition on him. And he custom upgrades with Carnage into Adam Warlock. And Carnage through his first attack, I believe he whiffed. And then the second attack he threw at Adam, and with this sadistic bleed, and it was 11 successes and maybe 2 or 3 skulls in there, I believe. So I was just like, okay, let's just recal this. And then I recaled it down to 1 success, and because Adam just DR to 0, just didn't die. So Adam was able to live, and with him being alive, and this was at the top of round 3, with him being alive, he was able to boost all my character's defense dice for the rest of the round because he was flush for power. which made all my other characters very hard to kill because none of them ended up going down because of that.
Oh man.
So go recal on a stick. I love it, and I'm totally here for it. Definitely not broken. Definitely not.
I mean, it does cost a lot of power, which we can talk about later. But yeah, recal on stick, really good. Turns out there's a reason why it's a tactics card, and when you can just throw it on somebody within 4 of Atom, it's still really, really, really good.
Yep. Especially somebody that seems to always be flush for power.
We'll talk more about that later, folks.
Fair and balanced model. Guys.
Fair and balanced model.
He is. He's a fair model. Adam. For our viewers, we've been joking in our chat every time they mention my name. We have a meme. It's just like Adam.
I live this hell every day. It's fine.
You love it. Don't even lie.
Okay. All right. Maybe a little bit.
No.
All right. Let's see. Hobby catch up. So, Mike, you are resident hobbyer of this cast. So, what do you got going on?
The one that has stuff.
Pedro, do you have any stuff you want to share? I guess I should ask that first.
No, because every time I go to paint, I'm like, oh wait, I gotta set up for something else.
Oh my god, you guys are slacking. Look at me picking up the slack for you too.
I'm planning for a wedding. That's my hobby.
Hey, listen,
no excuse.
I paid a guy to paint my Central Prime a Mango Sentinel color, right? And I'm very proud of that paint job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as you should be.
Someone was supposed to paint my Luke Cage, never did yet.
Well,
just saying.
I will paint you, Luke. You gotta give me the model.
You can't commit to the model if you don't give it to him.
He wants Luke Cage to have an afro. But actually, that's pretty easy for me to make because I did that for my Domino to make it look like the actress from Deadpool 2.
It's
very easy. If you go to like a model train store, they have like a flock, and then what you do is you just cut off a little flock and then super glue it onto it, and then they get a big ball, put it, and then with little like tweezers, or not tweezers, like little scissors, just chip around the bush basically and form it into an afro. Very, very easy to do. So if anyone wants to do that for like their Domino or for like Luke Cage, like if they, for any character, that's the easiest way I found to do it. Maybe if I'll take pictures and post it up on the Discord after this episode comes out for people to look. I love how my Domino looks, and he wants me to do that for his Luke Cage.
Yeah. And if anyone asks why, it's because I want my Luke Cage to be Black Dynamite, and that's why I want him with an afro.
Yes,
and that's it.
Well, I did really like the look of the live action Domino. So yeah, that's really cool, dude. Good idea.
Yeah, I don't like the hairpiece on the official Domino at all. That's why I did that. And I all my every character that was in Deadpool 2 is painted like the movie. So my Cable is in Deadpool 2 colors. My Juggernaut's in Deadpool 2 colors. Deadpool is painted like Deadpool. I don't think there's anybody else, right? I think it was just those 4.
There's like Colossus, I think, as well.
Oh yeah, Colossus is painted like Deadpool 2. Yeah, they're all just painted from the movie.
Nice.
That's dope.
Yeah. So I see you have some actual models here. So like Captain Marvel, I think, and some others.
So as I was saying, lucky for you guys, I was on spring break, so I took all the hobbiness of the cast and put it into this week. So let's see. I painted Captain Marvel, Rocket, and Groot for our charity event that will be raffled off. I painted Jin's Ezra. I also painted 20 Star Wars Legion clone infantry models. I painted Bad Batch from Star Wars Legion. I also painted Ahsoka Tano, Commander Ahsoka from Star Wars Legion. I have to paint the Padawan. And the other one I painted was 10 clone marksmen. Clones are easy. So I painted 30 clones, but very easy to do. Just prime them white, did the black parts, a wash over them, and then build up back the highlights and did black ink panel liners around certain parts. And that's everything I painted this week.
It's interesting that the Bad Batch are actually the worst clone troopers to do batch painting with.
Yes, I just painted them because they're freaking stupid in the game. I played my first game back from Star Wars Legion yesterday, and every time they shot at something, it died. literally everything. It was kind of ridiculous how often those guys kill stuff. There were only like 12 dice with, on average, 8 rerolls. And unlike MCP, you don't get anything called skull lock. So if something's a fail, you can just reroll it and then reroll it again, and they do a bunch of convert. It's so dumb. I love that unit already. I didn't realize how stupid they were until I played them, and then my friend Danny was like, "Yeah, they're pretty dumb." It's like I did not know that.
Yep, it looks like they're show accurate models. Then in that case,
Yeah. Oh, dude, they're so good. I was like, "Holy shit, this unit is freaking busted." They're too cheap for what they do.
well, let's see it post Adepticon. Perhaps they'll see some
I'm
adjustment.
excited. I got another game system to look forward to with Adepticon.
Yeah,
and I got Star Wars Legion in there.
you have bought into the AMG Triumvirate at this point.
Yeah, man, I really have. Once AMG bought Star Wars Legion, that's when I took a break. But now I'm fully back in there, mainly because the faction I like is getting a big boost in clones. I'm a Republic player at heart. I like a bunch of clones. So it's great, and I hope, even though I love Bad Batch, I hope they go up in points because they're kind of ridiculous for how much they cost.
Yep. Let's see. So all of us Alive on One will definitely be looking forward to the Adepticon, which is happening March 25th to the 29th. Sadly, none of us are going, as far as we know. But anyone that's going to Adepticon, please have a great time. Good luck at your tournaments, whatever AMG system you decide to participate in. Hopefully, you guys get some sweet prizes and we get some sweet announcements from there. Let's see. The only upcoming event we want to shout out is our friend Rob Ebel. He is a local out of Rhode Island, but he's hosting something at Westport, Massachusetts at the Omnisource Games on April 11th. Please come out. I think Stephen Bork and I are committed to going to that tournament. So if you'd like to, hang out, catch up, play in a nice event with like great people, please come out to Omnisource Games at Westport, Massachusetts on April 11th. And as there's more Jersey events, we'll definitely shout those out too as time comes on. All right. Go ahead and timestamp this here for everybody. So, all right, now we're going to move on to our main topic, which is going to be the Adam Warlock box that came in. So we typically want to just have a, for list. So for listeners, just to remind everybody, since this is probably a little later, because this box came out in February, I want to say, we typically do like to have a few games with the box and characters, just so that we can give you, more than just hot takes on these. And we want to just have a little bit more game table to just let you know, how these characters actually feel on the table. Now, the first character we're going to go through is going to be Adam Warlock.
Adam. It's going to be Adam.
All right. So, let's see. To go over Adam Warlock's card. So Adam is our new... being of immeasurable power. The only person that had this innate power before was Thanos, and it sort of is a parody. Whereas Thanos was probably the quintessential bad guy that has power with the gems. Adam Warlock is a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and he has access to a bunch of the gems, including his own very special, unique Bond is Soul Gem. So he comes at a 3/4/3 stat line. He's got 7 health on his front side, and then 8 health on his back side. He's got the DR to 1, just like Thanos does, and the ability to equip up to 2 gems. I think most of the time you're going to be using his Bond of Soulstone, just because it's baked in as a free gem, but he starts at 7 threat, unlike Thanos' 6. And I think most of the time you're going to be taking a second gem. So
Yes.
that's kind of what I'm getting for. Everyone's got different builds for his gem stuff. I personally am a big fan of the Bonded Soul and Space Gem that gives Adam a ton of mobility because you can combine that with his.
I thought you were going to go with the mind.
I think that's more. I think that was more your thing, right?
Well, I like the mind. Yeah. I thought from our last conversation you were more on mind gem. I mean, but yeah, the Space Gem is good too. Yeah,
the thing is, one of the few ways that you can really control Adam is just by displacing him. Since he has pseudo immunity to conditions because of the ability to remove them with the Bond Soul Gem should things start dying. But displacing Adam, though, I realized that 2 hops basically usually get him back to where he needs to go, or the ability just to reposition certain characters, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have characters that are very range dependent, or let's say you need to get a Moondragon in that super martial arts range, as we talked about, all these things are possible with the Space Gem. So what it does hurt, as Mike and I have talked before, is that he does like very little displacement outside of a spender, which is a 5-cost spender, which is pretty expensive, I want to say.
Yeah.
So first impressions about Adam Warlock as a character, Mike. What do you think? So far, before we move on to any of his like leadership stuff, like
okay.
I just want to talk about character.
All right, here comes the hot take.
Okay,
ready? I've wrote down all my games with this character because I am planning on playing him as of right now for WCC. So I played 31 games with him. He is amazing. I don't think he's broken after 31 games with him. And the reason I say that is because you can't play him on every single... He's not an every game piece. Now, he does for oppressive. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of juice to squeeze, you will say, out of this character. His defensive tech is amazing. He is by far, I believe, the tankiest model in the game. I can't think of anybody else. Reducing the 0, having you reroll. Now, the interesting factor is how oppressive he feels depends on what that second gem you put on him is. Now, I know a lot of people think that the recalibability is like the best thing on him. I don't think it is. I think it's the Bonded Soul. I think the Bonded Soul just gives him infinite power, healing, immune to every condition, especially stagger and stun, which I found the most oppressive to put on him. And him not being able to stop his allies from losing power within 4 of himself is amazing into Dormammu, is great into like a Professor Exilus. Anything that's trying to do power generation, even Deadpool and APOC, is secretly underrated. He just shuts down a lot of matchups. His builder can be good. Now, I think depending on how you want your 8 threat to play, I like the Space Gem idea, but I'm more entwined to either the Reality Gem or Mind Gem. If you want your 8 threat to do better at killing, you put the Reality Gem on a stick. That way he counts the skull as a result, and then he gets an extra die. His offensive output is really good. As games have gone on, I am more entwined, I think, to the Mind Gem. But I still go back because they're both good. Because I really need my 8th threat to do consistent displacement. Because if he doesn't kill the target that he's trying to kill, then he can't win, a lot of points. Especially against like a Kingpin matchup, which can be very hard for him. The biggest thing though is his defense attack. I see a lot of people they tend to just save their power for the recalibability a lot of times. But I have found using power on Cosmic Energy Construct for him and his allies, just adding 2 defensive dice. A lot of the Guardians characters and Splash characters that you could be splashing with him become very hard to kill, and your team just becomes very durable in a lot of the matchups that you would be playing him in, on like intrusions, meteors, like a lockdown, like these fighty maps. Having a 8th threat that is always flush for power and being able to boost him and his allies' defense, especially with the leadership, which we'll get into, makes your characters very difficult to take down. A little frustrating at some points. He is a frustrating character to play against. But with everything I'm saying, I would like to be proven wrong. Who knows? Give her time. He is still new. Maybe in like 2-3 months or after like Adepticon, he could just be the most broken thing. But that is my hot take as of right now.
Yeah, I'm the more I play against him, like the more I see the fairness of him. Like the builder is like fairly designed. It hits at range 3. So he needs to get fairly close by. And how well you roll with that and determining like how much power he gets, like, is going to be very important to like how much momentum he's building like during his turn. So yeah, it's interesting. Like the reality is there, right? If you want him to be more of a solo guy, like he wants to do things himself. The Mind Gem is good because you can use it to get the displacement. So if he doesn't take out a person, you can still win an objective. But that can also set up your characters to the other allies to take care of the character in question. And then I also do like I said, the Space Gem to either fix his positioning or fix an ally position to get there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has taken time or power. I think power, unfortunately, is like, you're already generating a ton of power to begin with, so I think it's just kind of like double dipping into something that you don't really like have a scarcity of.
I've tried the power gem on him.
Yeah,
It's just you don't need it.
You just don't need it. And then time, you already have chronokinesis like in the first place. So if you really need the recal, like, it is there for some price. The one thing is we can talk about then is his one of the leaderships, or the leadership that I guess you can take. So spoiler alert, just like the new Thanos leadership, the leadership that Adam Warlock is able to take as a TTC is able to give him free usage of gems. And that's really important as far as like, the cost of the gem powers are now like, not really an issue for him, right? So, he can reality activate that every time. He doesn't need to pay the 2 for the space or the mind. And for the time gem, he wouldn't need to pay I think it's 2, right? To use the recal on the attack.
Wait, 2 to use the what?
So time gem has the ability of the time gem. It only works for attacks.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
I was confused what you were talking about for a second.
Yeah. There's a lot of recalibration opportunities that we could potentially put on Adam. But yeah, I don't think you really want to put the recal on the stick because that's really just for attacks. And at that point, you might as well just use the reality gem because I think that's just like easier to use.
Yeah, I agree. My thing is, I've seen players not bring any gems with them, just the bonded soul. I will say, I think that's a little bit of a mistake because he doesn't start with 3 power at the start of the turn. So a lot of play pattern that I like to do with Adam Warlock is walk, pick up one of my home extracts, and then bump onto the midline, and then attack somebody on the midline twice. I mean, not twice, sorry, once. And then if you're able to, if he has the mind gem, if you're able to either zap a power or just get 1 damage through, with the leadership, you should be able to at least get 1 damage through. Like you just have a big old whiff. You then can mind gem that character towards your deployment. And what I like to do is towards range 5 of Yanu. And then Yanu just tag teams them for, 2 attacks equivalently, and getting a lot of round 1 pressure. Or, if you have the reality gen, just doing a bunch of damage himself. Or not just Yanu, CGR. I think Adam with CGR is busted on matchups like Intrusions, because you can mind gem somebody towards CGR, and then CGR can bump once and then attack them twice too, counting skulls. With having an automatic damage from Adam's card, you can get a lot of round 1 pressure basically between Adam, CGR, Adam, and Yandu.
Yeah, for sure. Pedro, we've gone a long time about Adam. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share about Adam, just the character?
I think he's good. I think he's cracked, honestly. I think he's really, really good. And like Mike said, maybe after Adepticon, he's still like super good, or maybe the most busted thing that's out there. But playing into him, I think of Ray like 2 or 3 times so far with Asgard. He doesn't feel as crazy as I think people put it out there. Like I've just done like a Thor hammer throw to give him shock, and then just yeet him medium away, and then just moved away. And I feel like him hitting on less, and then him having to spend to start repositioning himself, just like kind of messes with him. And if you do no damage into him, it's like I feel like he doesn't ever do much. Like he's not influencing the board. But I've also played against him on super wide maps, and that's probably the determining factor that I have, because I played him against Mutant Madman and Infinity Formula, and as long as you can keep him on one side and then the rest of your team is handling the other side, it doesn't feel like he's doing too much, because then he has to like try to rotate over if they don't want to, like if they need him to rotate over, so
yeah. I like how you mentioned if they don't attack him. For people that are playing against Adam, if you have a buddy that just keeps playing Adam, don't make the mistake of attacking him. What you're going to do, and you think you're going to do a lot of damage, is not going to happen. If you do spike him and he dies, that's just, that's probably the only time in MCP that you're going to do that. I'm going to be brutally honest. This guy is freaking impossible to let down in one activation. You have to focus fire him. And even then, it's not guaranteed. And you're just going to make him flush for power to then just keep recalling and adding dice. The only time you attack him is if we're on, let's say, virus and he's holding like 2 viruses, that's like 2 points right there. Hammers. Oh my god, I love him on hammers. I have hammers in my Guardians list because Adam on hammers, you put Adam on one side and Namor on the other side, and it's like a double whammy for your opponent. If they go pick up one side, the character that's on the side is just gonna attack them basically, and or then I have a pseudo safe grab because Adam is also a safe grab too, which I don't see enough players do consistently. A lot of times, I will walk up with Adam, port, grab the midline, and then walk back. Sometimes that's just the play pattern you do, even though he is an 8 threat. But if we're on like Montesi and you have him go pick up the middle Montesi, it's like, oh, good, you're never seeing that middle one again. Like it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you walk him on the point, then he can start doing his other stuff round 2. So that's also another thing. So he is very versatile as an 8 threat. I will say AMG did a good job of making him like basically the completely opposite of Thanos. Like his kit works pretty the Uno reverse of Thanos.
Yeah, it's I think at some interview they mentioned that like Adam Warlock is closer to like a classic D&D paladin that they wanted to make. So just a guy that's just going to tank like a ton of hits, like if they decide to like go into him. I mean, thankfully he doesn't have any bodyguard mechanic or anything because man, that would be really annoying. So instead, what he's doing is doing these. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it would be so silly. That would be so silly. But yeah, no. So the way he has his practice defense is that you have the cosmic energy construct for the additional dice or the chronokinesis, but that does cost power, right? And I have seen Adam run out of power if he's not attacked. So to build on both of your points is the fact that one of the ways to deal with Adam, they don't have a way to reliably take him down.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone, push him away, give him some conditions so that his output's or his turn is like a little worse than normal. And I think that does a lot. While you can focus fire on the other models and Guardians that tend to be a lot less durable most of the time, outside of Bill, who's his own bag of defense bubble stuff.
Yeah.
But everybody else in Guardians, I think, is more susceptible to being managed by damage or by conditions. So that's one way you can kind of think about the team and just remember how to score against the team.
Yeah, I will say also for people that are playing Adam, if your opponent is smart and they're not consistently attacking Adam, you want to be cautious with his power. You have to know when to add dice or when to recal. You're going to be doing it a lot less, but you don't want him to have no power basically to add stuff. And in contrast, if they're not going into Adam, then you need to be killing stuff with your characters so he gets stuff off the bonded soul. So he can also be flush power too.
Yep. Yeah. So going further into Adam's kit, I guess we should talk about the Cosmic Awareness leadership. It's a new leadership that's come out. It's a TTC card. So what it requires is it's going to take one of your slots. And then first of all, you have the ability to then, like we said, use the gem powers for free. They don't cost you any power to use the superpower that's on the gem. And then the leadership mechanic itself for the team is that you will start with essentially a shield token, and then you can swap that shield token for another die facing during one of the character's turns. And basically, you're going to keep swapping out different die faces, so you essentially can cheat in a die facing every activation, either offensively or defensively. And it's a way for you to sort of ensure that you get the die face you need. So, for instance, you could swap out that shield for a wild, and then later in a character's when they're attacking, if they need a wild trigger to be successful, great. You have a wild token on deck. You can swap that in for one of your current results, and then you now have that trigger ready, right? So it requires you to think about the planning, turn by turn. So Mike, being someone that you've actually been able to use this pretty often, because I assume most of the time you've been taking Adam as leader. We've been taking him. How have you found this leadership to be comparatively to Star-Lord's Queen tokens?
Well, first, I don't think you don't take Adam. This leadership and Adam are tied together. I don't. I like it personally better than Star-Lord's. It does different things. So what this leadership is the equivalent of a trigger bot. This gets you your triggers on Yondu, your shock on Bill, your stun on Bill, your zap power on Adam. your conditions. This is a condition machine and also a defensive machine. A lot of times you're either having a shield for defense or you're having a wild for offense. There are times where like you have hits in the pool or like crits, like if it just happens. But this isn't. It's not that it gives you more offensive power than Star-Lord, because I think Star-Lord kills better since you're usually going wider and you're going to have a more range of attacks. And you're going to have rerolls for 3 characters. And usually you're pairing it, as with nowadays, with Namor and Zemo. This leadership, though, gives you staggers, shock, stun, like all the conditions that are going to whittle your team down with a game that's going to go 5-6 rounds, like your attrition games, and you're going to bring Adam and CGR. This is amazing with CGR. You can swap in skulls for CGR, so he just has skull results for everything. And it really helps make your team more defensively, basically, because you're always going to have a defense, and then you're usually adding dice from Adam. That way, Bill is deceptively tanky. So is Yondu. He's very hard to kill under Adam. CGR becomes annoying to try to kill. CGR Spender, you almost guaranteedly get it if you time it right. I usually with CGR Spender, I wait to have like a wild in the result, because for some reason, I roll everything but the wilds on CGR Spender, so I always want the wild there just in case. And CGR Spender is just like a delete button. It's good for Adam Spender being able to heal characters and get conditions off. I had a game where I banked the wild and saved it for Adam's turn, and then Adam did the Spender, rolled 2 wilds, and then I put a wild in the bank, and I was able to shake 2 staggers off, one off of Bill and one off of Nebula, and heal damage off of Yondu. And it's just like sometimes it could be annoying for your opponent. Yeah, that's my thoughts with it. What do you guys got?
So in general, I think it's like when the Star-Lord leadership, you're kind of just like trying to just roll for just more generic successes, right? You're looking for wilds, hits, crits, like, it doesn't matter as long as it's a success, right? Whereas like this is much more precision. You're looking for specific die faces, right? For situations. The thing that's always been interesting too is that sometimes you may over succeed a roll. You're like, I don't need all these die faces to do what I need to do. So that's also an opportunity for you to sort of like bank those facings, right? With this leadership, and that's also
that's such a good point. That happens so much.
Yeah, so you never feel like you quite waste a roll, right? So if you spike a roll, it's like, oh great, I'm just going to take this wild from this roll, have it in the bank, and then whatever hits I need to succeed to daze that guy, that's fine. I'm good with that. But then later on, you can use that wild for something like more important. So that's what I've been finding pretty good about it. Pedro, any thoughts on this leadership at all?
No, actually, I like how it plays. I like that AMG learned to put once per turn on it, or then this thing would have been cracked.
Oh my god, it would be so stupid if this was not once per turn.
Very, very bad if it's not once per turn. Mike, have you been using it as once per turn?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool.
I've never played.
You and me don't read, so that's why.
Oh yeah, just like you.
But yeah, so it is a really good leadership. Every time I think I have not played Adam because I don't own the box, but I played into it. I just see like this leadership, I guess, helping out other characters that need more damage output or not as consistent. Like you just said, like you spiked on one and then you take the wild off of something. It's like, oh well, what if we tried like a Gambit in the Guardians list, and then you just like banked that wild, and then you just basically go like wild, and like you just delete a model just off of the leadership. So I think the leadership is really cool when you do this. I don't know, it's pretty good. I like how they also attached it to a card and not put it on his thing, because then I feel like it makes him a little bit more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said like you always like if you're playing Adam, you always play this, but I mean there could be a world you don't take it, but losing the ability to have free gems is like really bad.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like your second gem is just free, whatever it is, mine, space, reality. Like
Yep.
not being able to pay for the reality gem is crucial.
Yes. Yep. Which I agree with. So I think it's really good. And this leadership trolls Dorm, because you could just take out the skull, because this thing happens during the modified dice step and Dorm's happens at the end. So you could just yank the skull out of your roll, and then he doesn't have the ability to add a skull to his attack.
Oh yeah, good call, Pedro. Yes, the leadership does specify for this swapping of faces. You are allowed to modify skull results in this manner.
Yep. So you could basically be like, "Oh, damn, I got a skull," and he's like, he just spiked you, and you just went, "No, I'll take this out, and I'll put like a wild or a shield, and now you don't get the extra." And then you can recal him on top of that.
Yep. You know what splash besides Gambit I like under this leadership?
Wolverine.
No. No. Why is Gambit a better model as a 3-foot than Wolverine as a 4-foot?
I don't know, man.
I think we talked about this in the car.
Yes, we did. AMG, just make Wolverine a 5-threat and make him always count wilds as 2 and give him a reroll.
Yeah, I love how Wolverine has to pay power to count wilds as 2, but then Gambit over here just gets it for free.
For free, it's ridiculous. Anyway.
I was going to say my favorite model in the game, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes.
Dude, he's awesome with his leadership. He just, round 1 walks up, always gets the web up trigger, or on Dispender, always has like 2 or 3 wilds basically on the Massive Venom Blast to do a crap ton of damage. It's really dumb.
Well, you can do that. You can also do, when you do the clapback, you can like reroll all your defenses and then switch a die face out on the clapback to guarantee the wild.
I encourage Atom players, if you're looking for a 4-threat splash, put in Ultimate Spider-Man, because that guy becomes ridiculous, way more hard to kill, because Atom's like boosting his dice, so he's 6/6/5 equivalents.
Yep.
Rerolling 2 with the leadership, it can get pretty dumb.
Yeah, and having the ability to attack, like, outside of turns, like, also gives you a lot of offensive access to this leadership as far as fixing dice for some pretty key attacks.
Models. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dracula in this thing will be kind of cool because you got double bows if you put Mind Stone on them, and then you just hit him like a truck.
Yep. No, it's all good stuff here.
Yeah. Great card.
So we're very high in the leadership, I think, as a whole. Like, this is a good alternative leadership to much more precision Guardians leadership versus it's like, hey, just good stuff rerolls. So the alternative that we have for TTC for Adam is called the Magus. So basically, you can play this card, and then what happens is Adam loses his Infinity Gem Bonded Soulstone, assuming you have one attached to him, and then you get the Occult's Magic's innate power, basically. So what happens is that whenever he attacks, choose an enemy character that's not targeted by that attack, the chosen character loses 1 power, and that character, in this character, Adam, may gain a power or remove a damage or a condition from itself. Additionally, if an enemy character loses 1 or more power, if this character is the cause of that effect, that character suffers 1 damage. That enemy character does not gain power for damage suffered this way. So I'm thinking okay, so you do an attack, like let's say you do the Builder, right? And with the sap power. So you sap power from the first enemy, right? But then you can also use the Occult Magics to make another enemy character lose that power as well, right? And there's no range to this, right? So you can make every time you do a Builder, you can make 2 people lose power. Am I reading this correctly, guys?
I think so.
I've played with it twice. Honestly, here's the thing: if Adam wasn't so hard to kill, this card would be really good. Honestly, that's because Adam's very tanky and he just almost never gets dazed. Then you never end up actually playing this card. And then, from my experience in my second game, when my opponents saw that I had this card, they just didn't even bother trying to daze him, even though he had 2 hammers. So I'm not going to give you this ability.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. To clarify this, Mike is correct. This card can only be played when Adam Warlock is dazed. So you don't get to play this until he reaches his daze side, and that's something that not every affiliation that your opponent has will want to do in the first place. So yeah, you're giving up a Tactics card slot with the hope that they're going to try to daze Adam, and that's necessarily the best plan, right, for most teams into him. So it's going to be pretty narrow, I guess, the situations that you're going to actually play the Magus. Is that what
I'll tell you this: if you can bait your opponent into dazing Adam, you are happy. I love when people daze my Adam because then I play Galaxy's Greatest, and this guy's rolling a 7 dice builder. He's even more tanky. It's ridiculous. I love when Adam gets dazed because then you just equip Galaxy Greatest on him. He's rolling 1 extra die on defense and attack. It's awesome. And then if you do play this card, then you get this awesome ability too.
Yeah, man. I wonder if there's like a build to like force more attacks into Adam. Like if you take like a MODOK 2 or something, right? Just to like have him just get hit.
What I've done, if I want, there's one game where I made him die. What was it? My opponent was already like chip damaging him. So he had like 2 damage left, and then they spended my 1 character, and then I sacked it into Adam so he would get dazed. And then next round I played Galaxy's Greatest, and then he had like 2 hammers after that too. So he was rolling 9 dice attacks. It's pretty
normal.
That's awful. Oh my god, that's awful.
It's a normal Friday night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, this is on a Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. You know, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yo, that's awful, man. That's some of the scariest things I can imagine in this game. Oh man.
That double Helios, this guy.
Yeah. Okay. So we already have Galaxy's Galaxy's Greatest, which already can buff Adam like quite a bit when he's these days. So would you say that is Magus just a win more at this point? Because like I think most Guardians players will usually take Galaxy's Greatest, right?
Yeah, it's just a win more card. You don't need it. If it didn't have the cause of him being dazed, then I think it's an auto include. But it is, that's the best way to put it. It is just a win more card.
Yeah. I guess it will depend on your 5 cards that you want to take, folks. So listeners, if you do find a lot of room for an extra card, I would say you could certainly try this. But yeah, I think the other Guardians cards sort of already cover like, an effect of like when they get injured, you get like good stuff. So maybe this is kind of like overlapping the same sort of role as far as like what you want a card to do for your characters.
And you would need to play this without the other leadership. You have to do it on Star-Lord's lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like him under Star-Lord's lead because you usually want to go wide with Star-Lord.
Yep. Yeah. So for more than one reason, I think Magus will be a good flavor card for story purposes because I'm sure it's very lore based. But for gameplay purposes, I think it's just already like overlapping too many things that they're already doing, and you're forced to take the leadership under Star-Lord to even get this in the first place.
Yeah.
So unless you want a versatile strategy, but we're already so many cards deep for this very, very niche play. So yeah.
Lore-wise, the Magus is an evil version of him in the future.
Of Warlock, right? See, that one I did know. I remember the last time I didn't know what Gutter Space was, but this one I did know because Adam Warlock was my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy member.
Yeah, he's just like an evil version, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of that Sentry situation, right, in the MCU.
Yep.
Like,
dude, Adam Warlock in the MCU is freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, shout out to Will Poulter. Just a great interpretation of this character. Oh my god,
my favorite scene is when he's like, "Yo, don't be rash now," or "Let's be rash," or whatever it was. Oh my god, I started dying in the theater.
Yep.
I do want to mention. Oh, go ahead.
No, I had nothing. Go ahead.
I do want to mention before we move on to the other characters. My favorite list with Adam is not a Guardians pure list because Star-Lord is so freaking boring to play. Just playing the double bubble with Star-Lord that I've been doing is, I don't know, it's not my play style, so I find it boring. So I've been trying to duel with Adam. My favorite is a Shield Adam duel, where the Guardians members that you bring are Adam, Bill, Yondu, Nebula, and you need a 3 threat, so I choose Star-Lord over Moondragon, which when we talk about Moondragon, I'll get to that why. And then Namor, Nick, Baron Zemo, and Hawkeye. And then I still have a 1 character slot that can either be CGR or Ultimate. I guess just what you want to do. Right now it's CGR, but I can see just swapping out Ultimate. I like this duel a lot because you play Adam on the really Trisha maps, and then you play just Shield on everything else, and you just bring the core shield of Nick, Namor, and Hawkeye, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do double bubble, I think like the shield would be a better double bubble just because of the skull unlocks.
I don't like Guardians double bubble is. I mean, it's good, but it's not. It's not the best. Like I like shield double bubble a lot more.
Yeah, I think if you're not, how do I say this? If your splash slots, right, are kind of just very limited, then we can definitely see Star-Lord as the alternative leader. But if you have a lot more splash slots, then yeah, the world's much more open to you for dual listing there.
And then
AMG, if you're listening, make us have 15 characters, please.
Also, 15 characters. Also, Nebula and Yandu become stupid in Shield. Especially Nebula being able to reroll skulls, and then Yandu is like usually in a double bubble, rerolling 3 every time. He becomes ridiculous. So it's just awesome. It's just awesome sauce, basically. And Star-Lord's not bad either. Like, he's not a bad model for a 3-threat.
Yeah. I mean, he's a perfectly serviceable hit and run model that with his own innate set of rerolls. You can attach from range 4, with conditions. Sometimes it's definitely not a bad kit by far.
Yeah, he's not bad. He becomes more tanky in Shield.
I mean, he's also have 6/6 health as well, like given the update. So like he's oddly tanky, I think, for the threat level that he comes in at.
Yeah, I also like him. The last time I played him in Shield. Just like a cute little thing that you can do if your opponent like spikes, and let's say you roll your 3 dice and you have 1 shield and Star-Lord is still gonna die, and you're like, well, I can't reroll all of this because of Star-Lord. What you can do is with the leadership, you can just reroll that shield, and if it's not a shield, then you get to reroll everything else and basically try again to live.
Yep, you can definitely like cheese the plucky adjuncts, so it becomes like a sort of an Eye of Agamotto situation, right? So yeah, it's
cool. I've done it with on offense too. So if he has 1 hit, but it's not a big spike, just reroll that with Namor and Zemo, and then you just plucky attitude everything and try again.
Yeah, so it's
not the worst. That's why I like him better than Moondragon, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of conditions.
Well, let's talk about Moondragon because
I think into Moondragon.
Since we're already talking about her, so Moondragon is she's affiliated in both. Let's see. Well, 3 places, right? Avengers, Defenders, and Guardians, right? That's her affiliations.
I didn't know she was Avengers.
Yep. It's pretty cool. But yeah, she's a new 3-threat with the option of becoming a 4-threat using the Mind Gem. But her vanilla kit, though, she's a 3/3/4, 6 health, 3-threat, size 2 medium move on a medium base. She has access to a gainer called Psychic Barrage, range 3, 4 dice Mystic with Rapid Fire on a Wild, which is going to be a little hard to hit. She also has a spender called Dragon of the Moon, pretty solid, range 2, 7 dice Mystic, 3 power. You get to add the opponent's skull results to your successes, sort of like a pseudo Dormammu situation there. And then you have a Hex on a Wild, pretty good. She has access to a Charge. She has access to a Distracting Illusions, which is a witty banter cell from ESM. You can reroll one of your opponent's dice. She's got Shield Mine to protect against displacement from superpowers or mystic attacks. The Shalom martial artist that we talked about, then Ruin Pedro's Day, that's here as well. And she has the fight innate abilities, and no changes on her backside. So, Pedro, you've gotten the chance to play a bit of Moondragon. What are your impressions of this character?
I feel like this character does everything that everybody wants in terms of feels like they grabbed a whole bunch of people's kits that are good and they just jammed it into one character and went, let's go and let's try this out. And I think they kind of succeeded because I feel like she plays the game well because you're more defensive with the witty banner and you count your blanks on range 2. Then you help your guys not get advanced place to push, so and that helps you keep them in position, especially if like I know you guys said that you guys like to do Adam with a Mind Stone because he doesn't really have much displacement besides his spender. You could just double walk her into a range where it's like, okay, I know I need to secure this thing. You guys walk your Adam Mind Stone, and she goes like, no, you can like stay there when she has her own Mind Stone. So this can be like a kind of like a back and forth of trying to move models. The wild trigger on the hit on the first attack is kind of hard, but you can get it, especially with the leadership. And in her affiliated spots like C3, I mean, you just need a real hit, and you can spend 1 and change it. So You can get that wild relatively well as long as you get a hit. And then the Spender's really cool. I like the Hex. In Defenders, she is... I think I've only ever seen her in Defenders right now, played with a stone. Besides that one Guardians game I had at the beginning of the show. I think she's really good. I mean, she is a pain in the butt. I feel like she's also the blueprint stat-wise for what AMG is looking for or going to update for some things, because they're like, oh, we want models to have more health so they can do more things and like unlock their kits. And I feel like she's like the blueprint for some 3 threats where it's like we've seen these incremental health buffs through all these 3 threats and 4 threats. So I feel like this is a cool example of like how they want to make 3 threats. And when we talk about Quasar, the same thing, like how they want to make 4 threats later on. But I think she's cool. I think she plays the game well. I like it.
Yeah, the 6 health on both sides, like, it mirrors the Widow situation, right? Where like it's like, okay, clearly they want the 3 threats to last longer. Mm-hmm. So just like good incremental health, like good, limited defense tech, but it is like good defense tech. And once she has power, like it gets going. Her power generation is a bit throttled if you don't give her the gem.
Yes.
But the gem actually is like transformative because not only does it give her that 2 power, right? You can either charge, you can have the shield mine at the ready, right? You can also just use the mind gem to move people as well. And that actually gives her some sort of control because prior to that, there is no displacement in this kit until you give her the mind gem. So she becomes like a new character, like with the mind gem, like more so than I think a lot of other characters, I think.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Big time. Mike, any first impressions about Moondragon?
She's trash.
Nope. Okay. There you go.
There we go.
All right, you're leaving.
I'm kidding.
Thank you guys for listening.
Trash is a 3 threat. I like her as a 4 threat with the mind gem. I like her a lot with the mind gem. I think she's awesome. Hot take, she is not a good 3 threat outside of Guardians. I would like to be proven wrong. You know what it is? It's the wild trigger on rapid fire. If you don't have a way to mitigate it or like do modifications like under Steve 3, her kit is very hard to fund itself.
Yeah, and I guess you can make the argument that maybe Steve 3 is like where the other home that you would see her mainly in. Mm-hmm. I guess in Daredevil Defenders, because she wants to be at range 2, right, for the defense tech in the first place. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can see an argument that like it's like, hey, you want to just get her within range 2 to start attacking people in the first place.
Well, I've even played her in Daredevil Defenders as a 3 threat, and I don't know. Her kid just feels very lackluster. I mean, she starts with 2 power with the mind gem, so she has like the Asgard effect, and then you can walk, and then mind gem somebody off the midline, and just like walk away and put them in range of like Blue Marvel or something, or Strange. It just feels really good. The only reason I like her as a 3 threat in Guardians is because they need a 3 threat affiliated. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Drax or Groot, so you have Moondragon. I mean, like she's not bad. I would say trash, but her kit is very hard to fund.
Yeah, your best 3 threat oddly is actually Star-Lord, as far as like just a well-rounded person that can just do a thing. In Guardians, now for Moondragon though, it's interesting because like if you do get the wilds, she feels great, right? Because then she has the power. She probably has taken put some damage to people, but then you have the power for both the distracting illusions and the shield mine. So having that witty banter on a 3 threat, like, with her base, like, I mean, she witty banters as well as ASM, basically, because the base is the same size, right? The range of the power is the same size and it's the same effect. Just that she has a tougher time building like power, right? Yeah. So if you can solve the power thing by just getting like the triggers at the right time, she becomes like really, really good. Then the one game I played with her, like she felt really good and she was a big like MVP of that game, but that was because every time I attacked, I just happened to hit the wild, right? Either naturally or I use Adam's leadership to like force the wild like in there. So you can definitely play her as a 3 threat and she's a very good defensive 3 threat. But you're right in the sense that like if you don't get the wild triggers, like she's gonna feel kind of rough.
Sometimes. Let me tell you this. As a 3 threat, I don't think you want to walk and have her attack round 1. I don't think that's what her play pattern is. Round 1, what you want her to do as a 3 threat is pick something up on the midline or pick up a home extract, because she's a good extract carrier, and she's a good 3 threat extract carrier in like her home affiliations that can comfortably pick up something on the midline, because she can stop with 2 power. With Shield Mine, she could stop some of the techs to bring her close to your enemy deployments. And with Witty Banner, she is very annoying to try to take out when she has an extract. So as a 3 threat, I don't like the pattern of walking with her round 1 and attacking something. But I like her just walking up, double walk and pick up an extract, basically.
I think it's going to be depending on the context, right, Mike? So, like, if you do pick up something in the midline, right, and if you're not, like, out of line of sight, she won't have any power, right, to be able to shield mine or distracting illusions, right? So she's kind of vulnerable until she gets hit that first round.
Well, well, that's true, but I'm saying, like, there's not a lot of, like, in affiliation, like in Guardians Avengers, there's not a lot of, because under defenders you're playing usually as a 4th threat, right? Most times.
Yeah. You could. So this is going to come into a lot of preference here, and like, one of the bullet points we have on our doc, it's like okay, yes, mind gem or no mind gem, right?
I'm so pro mind gem.
Yeah, I think in general, like, she is just a much better character with the mind gem. It's just like, it's like, man, but we really were hoping for that 3 threat, right? That was gonna be doing like good work, and I think she has a place, but it just depends if we get into a big superpower displacement meta. If there's a big trigger meta, then the distracting illusions, I think, will be a big deal here. And I could see her as like a tech piece, right? She feels more like a tech piece as a 3 threat, whereas when she's a 4 threat, she's a good generalist. Is that kind of how you guys feel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a better way to put it.
Okay. So, all right, we've gotten a consensus on the podcast.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. She also, being in Defenders now has 3 models that count blanks.
3? What, her, Daredevil? Oh, Shang-Chi? Yeah.
Shang-Chi and Iron Fist.
So 4.
There's 4. Oh my god.
4 models, yeah.
There's 4 models that can now count blanks with boosted dice from Strange, which can be very annoying to deal with against a Defenders player.
Yeah, having 2 infraction models in Defenders and Avengers, actually, at this point, that have like counting blanks against mystic attacks, is like, oof, they're starting to get really well rounded as far as good tech.
Well, even if you play Steve 3, he counts blanks.
That's
on the flip or on the front.
Actually, both Steve 1 and Steve 3 count blanks for all attacks on their backside, but it's just that Steve 3 is able to boost a dice for all attack types.
Yes. Yep. So they having that on basically on both of those teams is really big. So it's just a good kit overall. I do like it.
Yep.
There's 5 defender members that count blanks.
My God, that's so many.
There's you guys want to take a guess on who the other one is?
Who else is a martial artist or a blank person that we forgot about?
No cheating.
I don't know. Okay. I really don't know.
Jen, you want to take a guess?
Is Ronan one of them?
No. Okay, I'll give you guys a hint. I've talked about how I want this character to be buffed so bad because I love the model.
It doesn't help me. Oh, Punisher. Got it.
No, I've never once talked about that. No, Ancient One.
Ancient One.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. There's so many blank models here. I don't know, because Marge used Ancient One today, and every time she did that spender, she always deleted.
She's great. I freaking love Ancient One.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, every time you declare that attack, any night you come out and play, you have deleted a model.
Yeah, I think Ancient One's kind of underrated, like, especially since she's able to pull you in to the martial arts range, right? Mm-hmm. You declare attacking her if you're too close, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to pull you in, and then I'm going to count my blanks. Which is really sweet.
Yeah, I like her a lot. It's weird how she doesn't count blanks against mystic attacks. I find that so weird. I mean, then again, she's really tanky, but I don't know. It's weird.
I think at the time, like, I'm going to guess that, like, when they were making martial arts, it's like okay, well the clear weakness of martial arts should be that it can't be against Mystic, right? So to represent that, we're just going to give her like 5 Mystic instead.
And then Shang-Chi came out.
Yeah, and then Shang-Chi come out.
The deal has been altered. Pray I do not alter it any further.
You would think for martial arts, yes, it is a physical thing, but it also is a mental thing, because how many times you watch a movie or if you've done martial arts, they always say don't overthink or don't let your anger take over you. So it's also like a mental thing. So you would think martial arts comes with like a mystic thing, but it is what it is. That's a different story. That's a side story.
I think it's because Danny's a Nepo baby. That's why he can't clear his thoughts. Mystic.
That makes perfect sense.
So, the Nepo baby.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay, moving on to speaking of families.
But before we move on, I just want to preface this also.
No.
I'm just saying. No, really quick. This model is beautiful on the table.
Oh, yes.
This model looks amazing. When we went to Battle Standard, the person who won the paint job, that model was incredible.
Ben's Moondragon is absolutely insane. Shout outs to Ben Foster, one of our local painters.
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. It's so good.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was just amazing. This is easily my favorite sculpt that AMG has made in like a while. Like it's like the execution of the energy like aura around her, it's like, oh, it's so good, dude.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, seeing it in person for the first time, like there was judging for it. And I tried to get Jin to tell me. He said, no, I'm not going to tell you. And I looked down at the table and I was like, oh, it's definitely that one.
Oh my god! Wait, we did the same exact thing.
We did the same thing. Yeah, I was just like, this model hands down has to win because it just.
I entered my Adam Warlock and then I was like, Jin, like, did the guy judge? And I'm like, who won? He doesn't tell me, and I look at the competitions. I was like, oh, is it the Moondragon? I was like, if I was voting, I would actually vote for that Moondragon.
Yeah,
my own model.
Yes, it's so good. It's such a beautiful model.
You know what? Wait. We're talking models real quick. I love the new Valkyrie.
That's another good model. Yeah, AMG's just been knocking the park out. Knocking out.
Which we did mention in our previous episode with Valkyrie and Elendale and Warriors 3, which you can find in our previous episode backlog.
Yes.
But yes, these are sweet models. Let's talk about the Douglas family really quick, because I did actually get to play this in the one game, because I forced both 3-threat Moondragon and 3-threat Drax. I did appreciate the extra movement that it did give Drax. It was really expensive to play this on Moondragon, and the only reason I was able to play this on Moondragon was because I just spiked. Well, not spiked, but I just kept hitting the wild triggers to get a ton of power with her. So then it's like, okay, then you just sort of win more by getting better attacks. So like I played this to give her the ability to count skulls for her Sonic Barrage builder. And then I was able to do 3 attacks, basically counting skulls, and that was able to defeat a model. But that's like, I hit the basically Magic Christmas Land of like, I hit a wild trigger for the rapid fire every time, so I got 6 attacks, counting skulls, and that felt good. But then I was like, well, this is like the best I could ever ask for this card. And is this something that's going to happen each game? And I'm probably thinking no. But that's just my first glance. Has anyone tried playing Douglas Family as well?
I've never played it, but I played against it actually quite a bit. It's not bad. I like it mostly for the vengeance and mobility on Drax. It really does help Drax get up the board.
Yeah,
and like the Moondragon attack obviously is not bad.
No, it's definitely not bad. I think yeah, it depends on what you want to do with this. Like, but if you are intending to run Drax within Guardians, I think this is something to consider, because he needs the extra movement to get to places sometimes, because he's a really static model. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it just said, making sure to pay the 4 power from somewhere. That might be a challenge depending on like how much interaction these models have gotten this game. So I don't think it's a bad card. I think for me, the Moondragon portion of this was very dumb, because like I just hit everything. But there'll be some games where like Drax will get that medium move and Vengeance like to get to the thing he needs, or Moondragon can finish somebody out. So I think this card is playable if you really want to run both characters. So I'd say please keep trying this, folks, and maybe let us know how it goes.
I think it's playable if you want to play with Drax.
Can you split the payment on it and do 2 and 2?
You can, yes.
Okay, so it's not too hard to play.
Nope. It's just that typically, like, I always assume that Drax and Moondragon like were pretty power intensive.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Moondragon has like the illusions, right, to keep up the rerollers against the opponent's dice.
Yeah.
And then Drax, typically, he only has enough power to walk throw most of the time. I feel.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the only thing. But maybe I'm wrong, and I just need to play more games with these guys to get a better feel for it.
Would this card have felt better? Obviously, everybody just keep on playing it. But would this card, if it was a throw Drax medium, or like that Rite of Valkyrie card where they both get to make a free attack, would you play this card more?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely 100%.
Those abilities are just better. Yes.
Well, no, I'm just wondering if it's worth the spend 2/2, especially when, like you guys said, Drax is more of a stagnant model. If it's like, if he's in the corner doing nothing, this card doesn't do anything.
Right. Well, I mean, if he's in the corner, maybe it does help him get to where he needs to go, right? I'm thinking, I'm in live thinking about this. Like, since Drax is actually like one of the best Dracula models as well, I do wonder, since this is unaffiliated, if Thralls of Dracula might actually want this card, just so that Drax is able to get that extra movement and Vengeance token. Because you don't need to actually play both characters; you just need to play at least one of them. But there just have to be two effects for both of them.
I've seen people say like they could play that in Defenders just with Moondragon. I actually think that's probably better. Like play this in Thralls of Dracula with Drax. I like that a lot better actually for him to like get the movements.
Yeah,
put the Vengeance token on.
So the other reason I'm thinking about this because Thralls of Dracula doesn't have affiliate cards, right? Character cards become much more apparent, and if Drax is actually one of the best 3 threats within Thralls of Dracula, this could be an interesting character card that he can finally use to sort of like increase his output. Because normally you don't get a Vengeance token on anybody, but you can actually put a Vengeance token on like anybody using this.
Yeah. You can also make this as the super reposition because you can like double medium move and then spend 4 to move again. So you can just move yourself across the map. So be like,
that's
okay,
true.
I'm just setting myself up so I could double tap this character. And then like next round, you're like, okay, cool, I'm already in position. The guy I need to kill is here.
Yeah, I think, depending on your position too, you can even rotate from one B side to another B side, and that's usually pretty hard for Drax to do. So
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Could be a consideration. So yeah, this is definitely up for more experimentation, listeners. So like, definitely try the Douglas family out for either of these characters or both. All right. Then our third character we have is going to be Quasar. So Quasar is interesting. I didn't know what to initially think about it, but okay. So just to go through like what her card does. So Quasar is our 4 threat model here. Let's see. She has. Sorry, guys. I just lost the page. Okay.
I got her up if you want me to go, Jen.
Yeah, sure. What's her card like, Mike?
All right, so let's start with the defense. Quasar is a 3/4/4, a 7 health, 4 threat, medium move, size 2. On the backside, nothing changes except for her health goes down by 1, so she's 6 health on the backside. She has a lovely energy builder that is range to 5 dice with a wild pierce. Her spender is 5 power cost. It's an energy beam 3, 8 dice. So for 5 power, you're rolling 8 dice with as a beam attack. 2 wild triggers, 1 for incinerate and 1 for pierce. So she's very pierce heavy and trigger heavy, and she has arguably the best attack type in energy attacks. Before we go into the rest of the cards, what do you guys think about her attacks?
Should be solid. Like if Magic it does good well with the Soul Sword, right? This is like the equivalent here, right?
Yeah,
5 dice to the pierce is totally serviceable.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Really good.
I like if you have power to spend. Awesome. I like her. If you have power to spend, I like her spender. But as we get a little bit into her kit, she can't afford it. But I think her spender, I've used it before. It's pretty nutty.
Dude, it was nuts. Nice. I went into somebody that had 4 people in the beam, and they just evaporated like underneath it. Like
it's a pretty nutty spender.
Yeah, I think everybody was like, let's say at like 5 health or so. Like, but yeah, like you just roll like 4 to 5. If you roll like average like dice with the pierce, like that mostly melts like most characters. And then even if they survive, they get the incinerate afterwards, and then you can potentially like finish them off with a quantum sword afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It is great. All right, let's go to the next thing. So she has charge for 2 power costs, so she can do charge action, just like Moondragon. She has quantum bands. This is my favorite ability on her card. So choose an enemy character within 2, roll 4 dice. Chosen character loses power equal to the damage, or equal to the number of crit, wild, and hit results. If the chosen character would lose more power than it has, it suffers 1 damage for each power it could not lose. The chosen character does not gain power this way. This character can be once per turn. And to finish off her kit, she has Force Field. So as she is targeted by a physical and energy attack for 2 powers, she can add 2 dice to the attack roll. And then she has her hybrid, which is when this character suffers damage from an enemy attack after the effect is resolved, she can use the superpower. This character removes 1 damage or special condition on himself, and this superpower can only be used once per turn. Who wants to go first about her?
So I'll say that the kit is interesting because it's a very power-intensive kit. So there's not a lot of innates outside the flight and immunity poison stun. And the immunities are good because like the poison is good for Terrigen canisters, for A-bomb plays, and other characters that just want to like get poisoned out. So your power is not typically throttled because she can't be poisoned, and the stun immunity also keeps it so that she's able to generate power like pretty normally. The only thing that would stop her is probably like a root, which would be pretty rough on her because tax your powers will be pretty rough, or the judgment condition, which will appear here and there, occasionally. But otherwise, she feels like quantum bands is essentially mutant absorption, right? That's like Rogue's like ability, which is like one of the best abilities in the game. She just rolls 1 less dice for it, but that's still a really good one. I have used things like this before to sort of like daze characters on low health, and they don't wake up with extra power, which is really nice. The Kree Titan physiology, like that ruin condition or a damage, once per turn, like after an enemy effect, like is really good because it means that most of the time, like conditions don't really stay on her, I think, most of the time. Pedro, what do you think of this kit?
I really like it because it is like a baby rogue. It's what it feels like, even though she's the same threat. I do like the boosted dice. I do like the heal. Like she seems really, really good, and in certain lists, I think she's great. I think under X-Men, I think she's cracked.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, this is where the sauce is. You play her with Professor X and Rogue, and you just put Rogue and her on opposite sides.
Yeah, it's
like I dare
wild.
you to go pick up an extract. You're gonna get a mutant absorption of quantum band on that character.
Yeah, this or you stick them in. Put her in Avengers. Stick him in Steve 1, and it's like the same thing.
This is true. I like Professor X because Rogue's affiliated, and you just double it up.
Yep, you double up the quantum.
Their kits play and are very similar. Like they play literally the same exact type. So she's just like a newer Rogue. The only thing is she doesn't have. She's more tanky than Rogue, and but she's less offensive than Rogue.
Yes. Yeah, and she has no displacement, so it's like once you jam her in a spot, like you gotta make sure she does work because if she doesn't do anything, you're gonna feel really bad.
Yeah, for her, here's my ludicrous thing is just like put her and Rogue on the same flank, and just go up and have them attack somebody, and then have one person get both the quantum bands and the mutant absorption into them. And they basically like just die with nothing on them.
So, know what? Yeah, see, this is why you're a smarter player than me. That is better.
Yeah. So like for instance, like in the game that I was able to beam like several people, I had the opponent had a Nebula, which is typically a very scary model. So it left her basically in the mid board. So by round 2, I was able to do quantum bands and mutant absorption to daze her because she only had 4 health. So and then you leave Nebula with no power to wake up with, right? So she doesn't spend her immediately. The next round. So I was like, oh, well, that's nice, for instance. And then because the Kree hybrid physiology, it's a 1-cost power, like under Professor X's leadership school of gifted, the power sharing just starts happening like pretty immediately as soon as like Quasar gets attacked too. So she actually synergizes with the leadership better than Rogue, but you can still make sure that they can work in tandem to do something. I think I like that tag team a lot. I think she's a stellar Professor X splash. But to go back to Guardians, I think the power intensity of her leadership is going to be the thing that throttles her output, right? Because you need to generate power for her to be able to do stuff, right? And there's no really way to generate extra power in Guardians except to just hit good, right? For the builder.
Yeah. So is this a thing that you kind of just want to play her in Star-Lord? Or would you do Adam on this one?
I mean, she's fine in Adam. She's fine in Star-Lord. I find her filling the same role as Bill, to be honest, and Bill just does it better. The reasons I would take her is the reasons I would take Bill. If I want a fourth threat in an affiliation that kills, I'm just going to bring Yondu. And then if I want a fourth threat that can take a bunch of attacks and pick up on the midline and do displacement, I'm going to take Bill. So she's in limbo, this weird limbo. She's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I do like her on Mayor Fisk a lot. That's about it. But I think Jin's right. I love her in Professor X. I played it once and I was like, this feels awesome.
Yeah, if you can find ways to pass her power, I think she will thrive in any leadership that lets you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing also about Quasar is that looking at her stats, none of the buffs really help her against dodge rolls, and she starts with just 3 dice, which is less bad these days because throw damage is now just 3 static.
Yeah.
But it does make her a little less good against throws than let's say Rogue would be, for instance, or a lot of other characters potentially in Guardians.
Yeah.
For at least for the threat value. So as a 4 threat, Bill's going to take a collision a lot better than Quasar's going to.
Yeah. I mean, there's Magical Christmas Land that you block 2, take 1, and then spend 1 to remove it. Because the Kree Titan is enemy effects. So you could use it after the throw.
That's true, yeah. But it being regulated to once per turn does mean that you have to really time when you want to use it, right?
Yes. Yep.
So
absolutely.
That I guess that's going to be a lot more agency on the player side for it, but it's definitely much more variable in that case. But yeah, I don't think Quasar's necessarily a bad character. I just think that she is in the 4 threats of Guardians, right? You're mentioning Bill and Yondu, and that's just a very competitive slot right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
she's trash. She's trash. Trash.
No, I think she has some play. I think people have to put Bill away for a minute and just start playing Poison.
No.
Yes.
I just no. My Bill's painted nicely. No, I'm not.
Well, you got a new model of paint.
Yeah, and she's half painted. I gave up because I gave up after I played her twice, and I was like, you're not making my list. I was like, I'm gonna move on to painting Moondragon.
You know what? I'm gonna buy this box and nuke your Bill with her, and then you're gonna be.
No, you're not. That's just not gonna happen because I'm just gonna boost it with Adam. And then if you do spike, I'm just gonna recal it. And then if you spike again, I'm just gonna go over there and take your dice and just throw them on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's usually what happens anyway.
The actual thing you do with Quasar, Pedro, is that you go up and quantum bends Bill so he doesn't have throw power, and you walk away.
Yep, you could do that too.
You can do that, but then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna tell you no, and then my word against yours, and you can't do that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And that's where you take his Bill and throw it against the wall.
You do that to my Bill, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go in your house. I'm gonna go to your Phoenix. I'm gonna take a picture of it, and then I'm gonna take what?
And then crush it.
No, I'm gonna take a picture of it, and then I'm just paint it everywhere around your wall.
All right, listeners, that escalated very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's move on.
Don't touch my Bill.
Bill's. It's $150 model. It's okay.
But you can't throw him against the wall because if you do that, he's just gonna aggressive towards you.
Yeah, exactly.
He is honor bound to move back towards you.
But yeah, no, I think her kid's cool. Back to Quasar. I think she's cool.
Yeah,
I like her.
Yeah, I think the design is very cool. It's just that I'm not sure if she's quite what Guardians need with the 4th threat spot.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe if there's more stun poison stuff, maybe you do consider it as a tech piece. That's the thing. Her kit screams to me she'll probably be more of a tech piece in Guardians. But she can find a home somewhere else, I think, you said, in power leaderships.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of leads that can probably use her relatively well.
So let's see. We do have a tactics card associated with Quasar, so that's Power Couple. So during the power phase, Heather Douglas and Phyla Vel, which is Quasar, may spend a power each to play this card. For this round, while within 2 of each other, basically Moondragon and Quasar cannot be advanced, thrown, or placed by enemy effects, and they reduce the power cost of their active and reactive superpowers by 1 to a minimum of 1. So they can still be pushed, but everything else that's not a push, they basically cannot be moved by those effects. So, and they get a discount on their powers, which, these are 2 characters that have a very power-intensive kit. The card is unaffiliated, so it can be played in any of the affiliations that you would like, including the other ones that Moondragon's affiliated with. So, any initial thoughts on Power Couple? Has anyone been able to play this card or seen this card in action?
It's awesome. I've played it twice. It's awesome. It's a great card.
Yep. So even though Quasar is limited to her builder for trying to attack people, I guess you can just move within 2, right, and just move them in tandem, and that's how you kind of attack with it. It's
great in defenders. If you have Quasar as a splash, it is awesome. And you have Moondragon as the 4th. You're living life basically. I really like this card.
Yeah, because you think about the amount of especially Mind Gem Moondragon, she has a lot of 2-cost powers that are just really good, right? That you can stop stuff with.
Yeah, it just makes it, because a lot of times Quasar just whips, but it doesn't matter when you just reduce it by 1, so you don't need as much power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, charging for 1 power is pretty good to just move around, just try to hit people, and then you quantum bands for 1. You can force duel each other for 1. You have Shield Mine, right? That's not also 1-cost power, and that stops super high pushes. So even though you're not immune to pushes, Shield Mine's going to stop all the web lines stuff into them, right? So that's really cool.
Yeah, no, this card's really good. It's what is that? That A-Force card. Was it A-Force Assemble or something?
Oh, you probably. Star Wars? Let's see. Oh, Stalwart to Determination.
Yes,
I think. Yeah. Just a free it's hey, you're not moving us.
Yeah, you're not moving us. We're staying here. Sorry.
Yeah.
This bunker, you're not coming near it.
Yeah, so this basically requires you to play these 2 characters as a pair, and they're definitely not bad characters, but they are very power-intensive characters.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play them in Guardians, you can play them in Defenders, you can play them in Avengers. I guess you can splash them in Professor X, but I think that's a lot of slots to probably use for that one specifically. So this will probably be in one of Moondragon's affiliated lists. I think you'll probably see this card more often.
You could probably play this in Steve 1, because then it just makes you don't have to worry. The leadership can handle the first one, the first superpower that you do, and then the card handles the next.
Well, no, I think you just get the reduction for the entire round, Pedro, actually.
Oh, yeah, so it's even better.
Yeah, you don't even need Steve 1.
You don't even need Steve 1. Leaderless. Get him out of here.
To be fair, though, you're probably playing these 2 characters under Steve 3, right?
3, yeah.
These 2 characters really want wild triggers, I think, a lot.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. I can see these 2 being played in a Steve 3.
Oh, you know what? Shout out. I forgot. Quasar is good under Dormammu.
Oh, yeah.
I like her a lot under Dormammu.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Granted, I do like Rogue too. So, pick your power drain.
I mean,
as you will, basically.
Because you're under Dorm lead anyway. So you could just pick both.
Oh yeah. You just do it on a Dorm for 60
you could double walk Quasar, quantum bands, cool, and then you just double walk Rogue and then finish them off.
In a 19th rank game where you can take 2 4s and a 3 under Dormammu, taking Quasar and Rogue, that could be pretty interesting to see what happens there,
Yeah, absolutely.
If people want to have fun on your casual nights, put Quasar and Rogue under Professor X, and you're gonna have a lot of fun. I had so much fun that I'm probably gonna play for the next league that we have, Joe. I'm probably gonna do that.
You should, because it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was.
I don't know. That might actually have actual juice. Honestly, guys, if you pick and choose your targets, it could be interesting. Actually,
yeah, it could be really good. I like it.
But you can't do it under Adam because Bond Soulstorm says no to that. Otherwise,
that's why you use Juggernaut and yeet him away long.
That's true.
I will say this: Adam does not like Juggernaut.
Yeah, I know.
I am all for the Jugs resurgence. Like, I hope that model like comes back and with a full vengeance. You know,
Marge uses him every game almost, and it has been the talk of the town at the league. Everybody's like, that damn Juggernaut is so annoying. It's like I can't do anything into this guy. I think Alex had to put a Helios into Juggernaut to like finally kill Juggernaut.
Freaking Helios.
Yeah, like he had to Helios him just because it was like this guy won't die.
Freaking Adam.
But yeah, no, this is back to the power couple. This is pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
So, any final thoughts on this box? Because I think we've mentioned kind of everything that's in this box, guys. So,
I think the box is great. I think Adam's awesome. I think these 3 models are awesome. I think, like what I said with Moondragon, I think this is a sign of what's to come from AMG in terms of like the health buffs and what they really want all the characters to do versus like if you look kind of like in the past, some of these things might have not been on these characters. You know, they might have like shortchanged them, but now that everything's getting updated, they're like, oh, we could put more stuff in and let's like jam these characters with a lot of superpowers. So I think this is a good sign to come when more and more stuff comes out. So I think this is a box. If you're definitely playing Guardians, you should pick it up. But even if you're doing Avengers, Defenders, if you want to do Professor, I think this box works well. Except Adam. I think Adam just stays in Guardians for now.
No, I can see him being Splash, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't
know
Webs. In Webs, no.
Okay.
No. Who told you me that? I think it was you that suggested
I did tell you that, and then Jin backed me up. He did.
Okay.
No.
That there's a lot of unexplored space with Adam. I think the defense stuff that he like puts out, I think he's wide open to be tried in a lot of different places.
I would tell you this: I don't think in Webs, but I will be happily to be proven wrong. If someone will prove me wrong, I'll be happy about that because then I will try it.
All right, Jin, get to it.
I'm just saying, if you at least under Miles 1, I think if you are unlocking skulls, I think the recals are very appreciated. Actually.
Yes, I agree with you there. It's just it's not his actual model; it's just the threat.
Oh,
I think I stated if you were going to splash him in Webs, I think you keep him as a 7th threat, right?
Yes. Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
the math works.
I think it's way too high. At that point, you do like you're saying, you do Dark Webs.
Yeah, I like Dark Webs. That's my favorite list right now for Webs is Dark Webs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as far as like output goes, that might be okay. Well, that's another podcast for another day.
Yes.
Mike, do you have any final thoughts on this box, or are you like you're good?
Adam. No, Adam is Adam's great. He's awesome. He's like definitely high A tier, probably at the top of like A tier in my mind for like models. And he definitely gave Guardians a big boost. Moondragon, I love her as a 4th threat, and Quasar is a ton of fun.
Yep. Okay, so yes, our opinion is that this box is not broken. It's quite good, but it's definitely not broken, as far as we can tell at the moment.
No, I don't like using the word broken for models. It's like...
So, in the sense that, like, I feel like there's something inherently, like, so negative player experience-wise that you need to, like, fix the model, like, immediately. And we're currently not that. I think because of the pace of scoring in this game, and the fact that, you know, there's more than one ways to deal with Adam just because, like, you know, he is not invulnerable to conditions, and he's not invulnerable to displacement effects. It's just that he has to sort of compensate them in his own ways. You can kind of have a little more agency on how to play around with them, you know? So that's what I'll say about Adam. And he's definitely not Thanos 2.0 is what I'm saying.
It's a good way. If the game gets slower, I can see him becoming more of a problem.
Could be, but he still doesn't have like great offensive output, even with the reality like gem. So we'll see if that is able to be a factor or not. But I think just because like he's not killing people left and right like Thanos would be, you know, I feel better about him at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep. This is where Shocker comes in and you jam him in there. One less time.
A shocker.
Shocker.
Okay. All right. So we'll close out this podcast. All right. So thanks, listeners, for listening. You can find us on our Discord at aliveon1.com as far as our Gmail goes as well. So check out our Discord. Please email us if you have any questions or suggestions or complaints or just general praise. We're also okay with that. Please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify where you prefer to listen. I'd like to thank Mike and Pedro for coming on and this sort of like, Sunday night, we could be doing something else, but we want to talk about this box, so we want to bring this to you, the listeners. So thank you again, guys, for coming.
No problem.
And then affiliate link is going to be below for Huge Miniatures. Please check them out for your very basics and accessory goods. And finally, we'll say Godspeed Drax, who is somehow Moondragon's dad? Question mark. Have a good night, everybody.
Adam.
It took me a second to find the stop button. Yep. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Oh my god, I thought this was going to be short. I say this every time, and I'm just like, yep, hour 30 minutes later. What the? It's never going to be short. It just there's too many. There's too much. We have too many side quests we want to go on a lot of time. We did talk about. Let's see. What do we had? Like a slight tangent on some model talk. We had. Let's see. I think we were talking about a couple models like outside of these three for a hot second, but it's nothing that big, Pedro. It was more like it was just kind of funny. It's like oh man, we could very easily get sidetracked, but you guys self-corrected, so like it's all good, dude. Oh.